Nuclear weapons are an interesting thing. They have made a contribution to world peace, but they are a very imperfect solution. Without nuclear weapons, I wholeheartedly believe that the Cold War would have gone hard. I don't think it is a coincidence that we had 2 world wars within 30 years, and then never had another since nuclear weapons were devised. Nuclear weapons have contributed to peace, but they are the furthest possible thing from a good solution. They are the ultimate imperfect solution. Nuclear weapons are an all or nothing kind of solution. Either there is no world war, or there is a world war, and it is the end of everything. Peace arrives, but only because of the momentous risk. It is peace founded on unrivaled fear, mutually assured destruction. I am anticipating nuclear proliferation. Multipolarity is here, the rules-based order is dead, the US is withdrawing itself into irrelevance. Everyone is going to want nukes. Without the rules-based order and a hegemonic state, the international order becomes even more brutal and dangerous. And nuclear weapons are basically the only weapon that totally guarantees security. Everyone is going to want nuclear weaponry. If the world becomes more unstable, lawless, and dangerous, masses of countries may pursue these weapons. Iran, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, Italy, Egypt, Brazil, Indonesia, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea. The scary thing is that the more countries get nukes, the more other countries will want them. If Iran gets nukes, Saudi Arabia is going to get nukes. If Indonesia gets nukes, Malaysia is going to get nukes. If Japan and South Korea lose security guarantees from the USA, they will pursue nukes. Something that is interesting to consider is the possibility of war between nuclear powers that does not lead to the use of nuclear weaponry. Imagine that the USA and Russia go to war. Putin is overthrown and killed, but neither side ever fires a nuke. That sounds ridiculous, and I very much doubt it would happen, but it is not as outlandish as you might think. Hitler had vast stockpiles of chemical weapons. He did not use them. He did not use them on the Allies or even the Russians. Even in the desperate later years, they remained unused. Some say he feared retaliation. Some say his own experience turned him against the weapons. We will never know. But it is very interesting. Even a deranged, doomed regime like the Nazis had the self-control to not use these weapons of mass destruction. Could the same be true of nuclear weapons? We don't want to find out. That would be akin to playing Russian roulette. There is a slim chance that they would go unused, but it is not at all worth the risk. And the idea that they may not be used could itself be dangerous. It could embolden reckless behaviour. Some say that standing up to Putin makes nuclear war more likely. I disagree. Last time we used appeasement, it caused a world war. Because if you appease dictators like Putin, they just keep pushing the limit until something happens. And that could be a lot more catastrophic if the West lets him get in a position to attack NATO. Weakening Russia militarily in Ukraine reduces the likelihood of Putin being emboldened to attack NATO. Appeasement does not work. And we cannot roll over to dictators simply because they have nukes and threaten to use them. That only encourages such behaviour. Nuclear weapons are a horrible thing. Humanity could be totally destroyed by them, even over a simple mistake, as has almost happened multiple times in the past. All it takes is for something to be mistaken for an enemy attack, and just like that, we have been sent back to the Stone Age. A huge amount of progress erased in a second, and that's if we even survive. Billions dead, millions left to survive, in unimaginable misery in the rubble. It is a hideous evil, and we should seek to eliminate its possibility. I think abolishing nuclear weapons should absolutely be our long-term goal. But abolishing them while our enemies possess them would be stupid. We would be at their mercy, and that would be a hideous thing. Abolition must occur in an international order that lacks intense antagonism. All who possess such weapons must be committed to disarmament and willing to provide evidence of that commitment. We must seek an international order with less antagonism, reasonable governments, and diplomacy and cooperation. Only then can we begin disarmament. And the sad reality is that we are going in the wrong direction. For the good of humanity, we must all do what we can to change that. We are not powerless, we have influence, we can play a role in improving the state of politics. Never get used to the threat of nuclear weaponry. When we get used to these issues, we become complacent and indifferent. We must treat these things as the affront to morality that they are. We must oppose them, but we must do so in a way that is strategic and takes into account the diverse dangers that we face.